When the average person talks about diversification, they often think kind of big level stocks versus bonds versus real estate. But there are so many other ways out there to, both niche down and diversify in all these different niches and all of these different ways to build that appreciation and that cash flow into your portfolio. And our guest today made a great case to me for investing in small businesses like car washes in particular for cash flow and appreciation. Whitney Elkins-Hutton is our guest. She's the director of investor education at passiveinvesting.com. She's also the author of Money for Tomorrow, How to Build and Protect Generational Wealth. So Whitney, first of all, welcome to the show. And second, make this case to us. Let's hear the case for investing in express car washes.
Well, again, thank you so much, Brian, for having me on. I love express car washes. Especially we're in an environment right now where cash flow is pretty compressed on self-storage and multifamily buildings. And maybe some people are experiencing compressed cash flow if they're getting into single family rentals. If you've been in single family rentals for a while or a small multifamily, you probably have some runway there because, your debt's probably locked in. So how is an investor to safely get yield, still tap into tax benefits and tap into growth and potentially diversification? And that's where the express car wash comes in. Now, first of all, the express car wash, it's an entirely different beast. This isn't the one attached to your gas station. This isn't the one where you drive in and you drop quarters into the wall and pray your kid doesn't spray you with the hose. This is not the trust me, it's happened before. This is not the full service car wash where you have an army of people and huge capital labor overhead. Okay, this is kind of like the Chick-fil-A of car washes. Okay, so we have a nice 80 to 120 foot long tunnel. You might pay extra to have somebody vacuum out your car, but then it goes through the tunnel and the tunnel reads a barcode and it automates everything, like from the pre-wash to the tire shine to what the wax is and all that. And it's very environmentally focused. These new tunnels, they're very smart. They reclaim water. They clean out all the chemicals. They recycle water per car wash so they can be very economically driven. And a typical express car wash can clean about 400 to 500 cars a day with just 2 to 3 full-time employees. So that kind of leads me to the investment for somebody who's trying to achieve yield and growth with a real estate like investment. Express car wash gives that nice hybrid between investing in a business and a piece of real estate and these nice margins with a lot of automation. Now, the natural question is, we're recording this in the middle of a very volatile investment environment and people
It's an understatement.
Right? The understatement of the century, right? And people are asking me like, well, how will this fare in a recession? Well, let's go over the market in general. The market in the United States, like 92% of people in the United States have at least one car. 72% of families have 2 cars or more. And like 54% have 3 cars or more. And we have data that goes back to like 2005 that shows when we hit these like challenging parts in the market, people actually have to take better care of their current car because they can't trade up. Guys, in the middle of a tariff environment, it's going to be super hard to trade up a car, and it doesn't matter what your economic background is, right? Car washes allow somebody to maintain their current car and allow it to last longer. And so we actually see a lot of engagement into express car washes in recessive environment. 2020, the most recent example, we actually saw it as a form of entertainment for families.
To get out of the house during the lockdowns.
Yeah, they get out of the house and some of the express car wash tunnels, they have like they're retrofitted with lights and laser shows, because you stay in your car as you go through the tunnel. And so the kids are having a heyday for the 5 minutes that you're riding through the tunnel, so it is very recessive proof. And here's the thing, people always are going to need a roof over their head. Us Americans, we're attached to our belongings and we're attached to our cars. Outside the core part of your portfolio, which might be housing, how can you invest in some of those outside rings that stay very close to home, like with the actual investor?
Well, I'm so glad that you touched on recession risk because I was about to drill you on that, but you beat me to it. So that's great. You touched on something that I just want to expand on a little bit for anyone who's not familiar with some of the tax benefits of investing in small businesses like car washes. So can you just give a high level overview of some of the summary of tax benefits for these types of investments?
Yeah, so it depends on how you actually invest into the car wash. But, the way we do it is we buy the building and the land. And the building, just like a multifamily building, self-storage building, we can depreciate that on a particular scale. Because the building is actually an operational piece of equipment, meaning the equipment is attached to the building, okay? It is fundamental to the operation of the business. We can generally write off the entire building and everything in it in the first 5 years.
Oh, wow. So much more accelerated than your typical
Very
multifamily.
accelerated. Okay, so like we take $1 million building, we can accelerate that to the first 5 years of the project. We layer on the tax incentive, which is bonus depreciation, then we can push a lot of that forward into year one. So that is very attractive. Now, here's the thing. Remember, you invested in an operational business. So it is difficult. Okay. This is where it comes down to your personal situation, your work with your CPA. It's not something that we do or any operator does. Is that tax benefit usually will offset the income that you're bringing in from the express car wash, which is substantially higher in most cases, or will grow substantially higher over time than you would get in a multifamily or self-storage building. So you might bank your losses for the first couple of years, and then you're like really ripping through them to shelter the income. But you can't really use it against multifamily or self-storage, other passive losses in your portfolio because, the IRS in 1924 took away us being able to move things back and forth between business and real estate.
So you touched on something there. I just wanted to ask you about. You said that the cash on cash returns on these investments on the car washes tends to be better than that income yield that you get on multifamily investments. So what kind of cash on cash returns are you guys seeing at passiveinvesting.com on these car washes?
Yeah, so it depends if you're going in and doing buying already operational car washes, that year one cash flow might be 5 to 7% and have a ramp up time to grow to like 7, 10, 12% by year five. If it is a building that, is being delivered at certificate of occupancy, right? Like kind of like a turnkey building, it doesn't have any previous operational history to it. Year one cash flow might be 0 or 1 or 2%, right? Because we
Right.
need to be able to ramp up the business. If you're doing a ground up development, now you're certainly not going to have any cash flow for the first, say, 9 to 12 months. And then you're going to have very small, if any, cash flow for the next 12 months. So it can take a couple years before you see that cash flow on ground up development. Now, for us, our investors can choose if they want to do the ground up development piece or if they want to do the operational side. We don't force our investors to do both.
Yeah, no, I love it. And this has been something that I've been meaning to invest in for a while now. And in our co-investing club, we've been looking for operators offering car washes, and we just have struggled to find ones, at least that allow non-accredited investors. So no, I love this, and it's something that I definitely want to add to my own portfolio, and it's something we want to do in the co-investing club. So Whitney, in 30 seconds or less, tell us how you help people and how people can connect with you if they want to take you up on that help.
Absolutely. So I help high income earners and small business owners take their income and their savings and turn it to passive income and long-term wealth. And so you can reach out to me at passiveinvestingwithwhitney.com. There, I've got some free goodies for you, and you also get access to my calendar, and we can jump on a one-on-one call, and we can discuss how passive investing can help you meet your goals.
Awesome. Well, guys, if you got a fresh perspective from this quick episode, subscribe to the channel for more awesomeness twice a week, and pay it forward. Pass it along to your friends, family members, colleagues who might also get something out of this. We try to keep it weird and wacky around here. And lastly, consider joining our co-investing club. We get together every month and we vet different investments, typically real estate or other private equity investments, debt investments, and it's a lot of fun. Get to invest in alternative investments without the massive price tag of 50 grand, 100 grand at a time per person. So check out sparkle.com/free for a free course on how that all works and how passive investing in real estate in general works. And stay weird, unconventional investor.